For our 2020 capstone project, we were tasked by Inwerken to create an augmented reality application to visualize sensor data in logistical systems. Inwerken is a German company who specializes in many different areas, including SAP consulting, which is just basic entity resource or a field of entity resource planning, project management services, and helping customers to create an Internet of Things. Inwerken is responsible for the software, and their sister company, WSN, creates the hardware. For our project, we were sent 2 sensors by WSN and tasked by Inwerken to create a system that will utilize these sensors in an AR application. Now, Riley will talk more about the project opportunity and the solution we came up with.
While describing our project opportunity, Inwerken made it abundantly clear that the use of technologies from the field of Industry 4.0 would be the baseline for this project. Industry 4.0 is a subsection of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the industrial revolution that many countries are either already taking part in or are preparing to take part in. One of the major components of Industry 4.0 is its significant use of wireless technologies and sensors to create cyber-physical systems and an Internet of Things that can be automated due to their data transferring capabilities. While the use of Industry 4.0 practices for the purposes of automation can significantly improve the efficiency of both industrial and non-industrial processes, it can be difficult for untrained individuals to conceptualize the data flow due to the sheer amount of information being processed at any given time. To make this data more accessible for the likes of logistics employees, our project focused on developing an augmented reality application that is capable of displaying a visual representation of the data stored within a sensor attached to industrial technologies. Our project solution is split into 2 main applications, the previously mentioned augmented reality application and a marker management application. In the augmented reality application, a marker is a unique identifier, similar to a barcode, that is linked to a specific sensor. These markers can be scanned by our augmented reality application, again similar to a barcode, and after the scan is complete, an interface is shown to the user depicting information reflecting the current state of the corresponding sensor. Our application also features a virtual button system, which is equivalent to a normal button system, just in virtual space, that the user can interact with to view graphs depicting the history of the corresponding sensor states. Our second application, the marker management application, allows users to create new markers for use in the augmented reality application. This application allows the user to customize their markers to an extent, specify what sensor ID they would like to associate with a new marker, and save local versions of their created markers for printing purposes later. To conclude this video, we'll be showing some demonstrations of our applications, starting with the marker management application.
So this is our ViewMark management app that we wrote in Python, and the whole purpose of this app is to automatically generate new view marks when you need them. You just enter a sensor ID or a range or whatnot, you can save them. So this is actually the Inwerken view mark right here. This is the Inwerken's logo in the center, and you can also change to WSN view marks. And just a heads up, the file and the marker, those menus aren't displaying on the capture software I'm using. So this is a WSN view mark, and the marker just has a list of, you can choose Inwerken or WSN. So we'll go back to Inwerken right now, and what you can do is you can either save a single view mark, like here, you can enter a sensor ID, save one, you can save file, and what it does is it just pops up in your file explorer, which isn't being captured by the recording software I'm using, and you can just pick a file, hit save, saves the computer. You can do the same thing with, say, a range of view marks, and say 1 through 3 or maybe 1 through 9 or whatever. Click Save File, and it just pops up in the File Explorer, and it saves it just like that. And you can also do multiple. You just enter different IDs separated by spaces or commas, and it'll put those in a folder that it creates called view marks, and then save that folder to your computer. Now, because Inwerken is a German company, we needed some kind of language support. So if you click File and Language, you can choose between German and English. Translates just like that, nice and easy, no problem. And then back to English.
I'm just going to do a quick demo of the AR application to showcase kind of the UI, what it looks like, and then a couple of different features, and kind of explain the use case for it. So as you can see here, this is the basic UI for our application. This one works a little bit better, just got better lighting on it. You can see it says, so basically this is viewmark number 1, and so it connects with sensor with the sensor ID number 1, and it shows the information that comes from the sensor. So this sensor is linked with screws. It'll show up in the top right there, you can see. Then it shows the battery percentage, the signal strength of the sensor, as well as a couple different sensor states, whether or not they're active or inactive. And as you can see with this sensor, there is just one activator or actuator, and then with this sensor there are 2. So this view mark here is actually linked with the one with the 2, and this UI is dynamically updating, so depending on how many different sensor states or whatever kind of information is being sent by the sensor, it dynamically updates this UI to include that information in there. And then this one is linked with the other one. You can see it's only got the one sensor state at the bottom. Basically what these are, it is a view mark concatenated with an image target on the bottom for the purposes of adding the virtual button, since the virtual button does not work with the view mark. So once you press this virtual button here, it will activate the grids or the graph systems that shows sensor history data. So it basically shows the battery history, the signal history, and then on the other side it shows it shows the sensor history, whether or not it's active or inactive. These graphs are also dynamically updating, so as you can see with this one, it's got sensor 1 and sensor 2 because there are 2 sensors linked with this view mark. And then this one over here, it's only got the 1 sensor history graph. It's got the same amount of stuff on the other side. This one's a little touchier since the lighting's off a little bit over here. This one's, it's got the same 2, battery history and signal history on that side, but it's only got 1 sensor history on that side, so it's dynamically updating. The other feature with this application that you can't see is its multi-language support. So right now it's in English because my phone is set automatically to English, but were my phone set to German, it would show up all this information in German. And we basically wanted it to be automatically change the language based on your phone preferences instead of a button on screen, so it works with if you have AR goggles that don't have a button, it just automatically does it for you. Yeah, that's kind of all the features that we wanted to include.